This time, the city of Plattsburgh is holding a public hearing to hear public comment on proposed local law P5 of 2022. A local law amending chapter 360, article 2, section 360-5 entitled Terms Defined by amending the definition of livestock to exclude laying hens and amend chapter 360, article 4, section 360-13, subsection E to regulate the keeping of hens per the city code of the city of Plattsburgh. I'd like to take a motion to open the public hearing. Motion by Councilor Gibbs, second by Councilor Cross. All in favor?
Aye.
The public hearing is now open. Is there any person intending to make a comment at this public hearing regarding local law P5 of 2022? Please.
Hi, my name is Julie Ross. I live on Belmont Avenue in the city of Plattsburgh. I am not against backyard chickens in this life. I think it's a great idea. I have some concerns about chicken coops attracting predators. The neighborhood that I live in has a ton of stumps already. They are everywhere. Can't tell you how many times my dog has been stumped. I'm worried that coops will attract more stumps. And I'm curious to know if there's going to be a nuisance wildlife person maybe brought back on an on-call basis like we used to have. We used to have somebody who would call if there was an issue. So if some problem becomes more significant, I'm hoping that might be a possibility on call person. The other concern I have is we have ordinances for noise and for parking on your front lawn and for backyard fires. Are we going to have an ordinance that dictates how you maintain a chicken coop so that you don't have smell emanating from the boundary line? If you're 5 feet away from my house, then I'm going to smell your coop if you're not caring for it. I've done a lot of reading on it, I'm sure everybody else has who's curious about it. And if you don't maintain the coop frequently, you wind up with a heavy ammonia smell. So I'm just curious if there's going to be an enforceable ordinance like all the others, and then if so, who enforces it? And that's basically all I have. I think it's a great idea. I just don't want to be impacted by it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to make a public comment on local law P5 of 2022? Seeing none, I will now close the public hearing. Motion by Councilor Gibbs, second by Councilor Now, all in favor?
Aye.
This public hearing is now closed. At this time, I'd like to call the October 6th, 2022 regular meeting of the Common Council of the City of Plattsburgh to order. It is now 5:07 p.m. Please rise and join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's probably you please conduct the roll call.
Mayor Rosenquist,
Here.
Councilor Canales,
Here.
Councilor Kelly,
Here.
Councilor Gibbs, here, Councilor Talon, here, Councilor Bob, here, Councilor Moore,
Here. All councilors have received a copy of the minutes of the September 15th, 2022 regular meeting. If there are no additions, deletions, or corrections, I'll now entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented. Councilor Kelly, second by Councilor Canales. Any changes, deletions, or alterations? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Carried. I'll now recognize those in the audience who wish to share their thoughts and concerns with the council on any topic. Please come to the podium to be acknowledged. When called upon, we do please ask that you state your legal name and address for the record. And in accordance with the organizational rules of order, all speakers will be given 5 minutes to address the council. Please, sir.
My name is Jeremy Gillespie. I live at 89 Main Mill. Some of you are probably already aware. I've got a problem with ATVs going down City Street. And some of them are coming through at nighttime with their lights off. They're coming out of that substation and they're coming out of the Curry Mill. Now I talked to the manager of the Curry Mill. He's kicked them out of there. He doesn't want them. They leave garbage and everything else around back there. What troubles me most is when I talked to the city police officer, she didn't seem to think that she could arrest anybody unless being an MLB property, unless she got permission from them. And I'm kind of confused as to why she thinks that. You know, I'm not, she's probably just covering all her bases, and I'm not, you know, I back our police force 110%. But I think she has the right to do that. The police have been notified on several occasions. I called the MLB, Bill Stacy on the issue. It's like he wasn't aware of anything that was going on. I don't even think he knew it was posted. From the impression I got talking to him on the phone. He said he would check with council, with the mayor. I told him I was gonna do the same thing. So I don't know where he stands on this. I don't know if he contacted anybody or not. But that was posted about 3 years, a little over 3 years ago, and that was because a lot of drug activity. They caught somebody back there making cooking meth. Just last spring, I called the police. I see 2 individuals going in there looking around. I knew they were up to something. To call the police. I was told they were known meth makers. They were looking for a place to make it. Now, we all know we got big problems in every city does. But I don't know about your neighborhood, but in my neighborhood, I don't want that going on. These guys coming out there with the four-wheelers, they probably, I got a gut feeling, I worked corrections for 28 years. I got a gut feeling going back there with backpacks on four-wheelers, you're up to something else more than just riding four-wheelers. And I'm not sure, but I've heard rumors that the city has four-wheelers. I don't know. Maybe once in a while, somebody can take a spin back there, just take a look around. You know, see what's going on. They're usually, from my understanding, they're usually leave a mess. I just got a gut feeling this morning, just going back there riding four-wheelers. Like I say, when they come back, they come, the last few times they've been coming through the mill, they're doing over 40 miles an hour, coming around that corner with no lights on. If I ain't looking, somebody else coming out of one of the hidden driveways, there's going to be a severe accident. Somebody severely injured, probably killed. Then on top of that, you know they don't have insurance, so who's going to pay for damage? They probably did. You know, it's one of those things that has to be addressed quickly. I know the police officers, you're short on help. Please hire more police officers if you can. With your phrases of property tax that not through the ceiling, as far as I'm concerned, there's money there that can be gotten. You hire more police officers, really. And I back my police officers, 100, like I said, 110%. And I think a night shift should have 2 officers in the car at night on the night shift, so that, you know, by the time they call for help or backup, at least it's 2 officers there. I mean, we got problems across the lake, and it's eventually going to get here. It's eventually going to get here. Sad to say, but that's the environment. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Rick. Anybody else who'd like to address the council on any topic? Yes.
Yeah.
Now you can.
Is this the time? Have you come? Abby Zerber, fourth ward, person with the city of Plattsburgh. I just wanted to thank the council members and the mayor and the staff for kind of the work that they put towards the chicken law thus far. I'm definitely in support of amending the zoning code and permitting heading in the city of Plattsburgh. Do you want to say anything? No, supporter as well. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Anyone else who'd like to address the council on any topic? No? Yes, please.
My name is Laverne Hicks. I live at 9 White Street, in the city. And I'd just like to reiterate what Mr. Gillespie said. I have a hidden driveway. And I have to be very careful coming out of my driveway. So I would appreciate it if you could find money someplace to hire more police officers. We're kind of the lost section of the city because we don't see a police officer unless we call them. And we used to see them all the time. So you don't have enough. So if you can find money someplace, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Anyone else who'd like to address the council on any topic? We'll now go on to committee reports. Each standing committee is chaired by a counselor. I'll now call upon that chairperson of each committee, starting with the City Operations Council.
There is nothing new to report at this time, except that we do not have a meeting this month.
Finance and City Ops, Finance and Economic Development. We do have a meeting on Tuesday. I believe it got shifted due to some travel schedules. As discussed throughout August and this month, the mayor's proposed budget will come out officially tomorrow. There will be printed packets in councilors' mailboxes. And then the public hearing is set for November 3rd, 2022. That's a Thursday. That will be a first regular meeting of the common council in November. There will be no committee meetings leading up to that regular meeting. So it should be a very light agenda to discuss the budget and need it, as well as have community members who can talk about the budget after it's been reviewed. City Infrastructure Council.
We had a meeting this week and Monday and brought forward two items, 7.202 and 7.204 to the regular agenda.
Public Safety Council for now.
We have our next meeting on the 17th, and we have a few resolutions up for vote today besides that.
Thank you. We'll now move on to liaison reports. Plattsburgh Public Library Council.
Okay, well, the roof is done, so, this is a very good thing, and also, they received the New York State Library Construction Grant for $387,000, so that's pretty amazing.
Plattsburgh Municipal Lighting Department Council.
I don't have anything to report. We have a couple of items on the agenda tonight that were approved at our last board meeting for bids and write-offs. Other than that, nothing else.
Thank you. Mr. Schneller, anything? No. There are no special committee reports. I will now report that the council approved the payroll for the various city departments on various city departments of the city of Plattsburgh for the week ending September 21st, 2022, in the amount of $575,489.49. And on September 28th, 2022, in the amount of $5,041.65. And on October 5th, 2022, in the amount of $558,083.45. I'll also report that the council approved the audit of claims for the common council ending the weeks September 23rd, 2022, in the amount of $559,516.07. September 30th, 2022, in the amount of $1,818,420.29, and October 7th, 2022, in the amount of $473,990.64. Before voting on the following resolutions, I'll note that the majority of these resolutions have been thoroughly discussed by the appropriate committees and their department heads. We'll now take action on these items in large part due to the recommendations of those committees. Ms. Carlin, will you please read the titles of the resolutions to be acted upon?
Item 7.196, budget adjustments, general fund, fire vehicle parts and repairs.
Motion, Councilor Canales, second, Councilor Kelly, discussion. Roll call.
Council Canales?
Yes.
Council Kelly?
Yes.
Council Gibbs?
Yes.
Council Talon?
Yes.
Council Bob?
Yes.
Council Moore?
Yes,
Carried.
Item 7.197, approval of street closures for Strand Center for the Arts Fall Festival event.
Motion by Councilor Talon, second by Councilor Bob, discussion. Roll call.
Council Canales?
Yes.
Council Kelly?
Yes.
Council Gibbs?
Yes.
Council Talon?
Yes.
Council Bob?
Yes.
Council Moore?
yes,
Carried.
Item 7.198, authorizing bond issuance to pay for the cost of purchasing an ambulance.
Motion, Councilor Canales, second, Councilor Bob, discussion. Roll call.
Council Canales?
Yes.
Council Kelly?
Yes.
Council Gibbs?
No.
Council Talon?
Yes.
Council Bob?
Yes.
Council Moore?
no,
Carried.
Item 7.199, authorizing MLB to award bid.
Motion, Councilor Canales, second by Councilor Bob, or Gibbs, sorry, discussion. Roll call.
Council Canales?
Yes.
Council Kelly?
Yes.
Council Gibbs?
Yes.
Council Talon?
Yes.
Council Bob?
Yes.
Council Moore?
yes,
Carried.
Item 7.200, authorizing MLB to advertise for bid.
Motion, Councilor Gibbs, second by Councilor Bob, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Canal,
Yes.
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs,
Yes.
Counselor Talon. Yes. Counselor Bob,
Yes.
Counselor Moore.
Yes,
Carried.
Item 7.201, authorizing MLB to write off unpaid final bills as required by the New York Department of Public Service Regulations.
Motion by Counselor Gibbs, second. Counselor Bob, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Canal,
Yes.
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs,
Yes.
Counselor Talon. Yes. Counselor Bob,
Yes.
Counselor Moore.
yes,
Carried.
Item 7.202, authorizing revising capital project H5110.83, 2022 equipment purchase.
Motion by Counselor Canal, second. Counselor Bob, discussion.
I just have one question on that, are we buying all the same brand of front end loaders or?
Yes.
Okay. I was just thinking because of the parts and whatever, it could be interchangeable, I noticed there was two different brands in the previous.
There's two different pieces of equipment, but there's four overall. Three wheel loaders, one track loader. The three wheel loaders will be one brand, one track loader. will be the other.
Very good, thanks.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Canal,
Yes.
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs,
Yes.
Counselor Talon. Yes. Counselor Bob,
Yes.
Counselor Moore.
Yes,
Carried.
Item 7.203, budget adjustments, general water and sewer funds, fuel, DPW and chemical, WFP and WRF.
Motion. Counselor Bob, second by Counselor Gibbs, discussion.
Can we get an explanation on this budget adjustment?
It's for increasing fuel costs.
It's just increasing the cost, that's it?
Yeah, because we were under budgeted for the rise in the fuel costs and there's
Oh,
also at the pork plant, which I'm not sure what that stands for. Fuel compost plant, they budgeted the electricity for the year, even though it's included in the water account. And there's also some chemical needs at both the filtration plant and the recycling plant.
Further discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Canal,
Yes.
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs,
Yes.
Counselor Talon. Yes. Counselor Bob,
Yes.
Counselor Moore.
yes,
Carried.
Item 7.204, authorize Casella Organics residual management agreement, second amendment.
Motion by Counselor Gibbs, second by Counselor Bob, discussion.
Yes, can we get an explanation on this one, sir?
One of the agreements we have for disposing of the treatment residuals from the wastewater treatment plant.
Is it the biosolids, like, will go to the Malone plant, or is this?
Biosolids go to two places. There's this place, Grassland, go like Casella, and 1/3 of it goes there, about 2/3 of it goes back to County.
What's the difference?
Between the two locations. Well.
Are the materials the same that are going to each?
Same materials, one's a landfill, one's we call a beneficial reuse facility, which takes the biosolids and turns it into a product that can be used as a soil amendment for a fertilizer type material. When it comes to disposing of residuals, we need lots of redundancy. So we like to say we need belts, suspenders, waders and overcoats when it comes to this stuff. So we've got Franklin County landfill. We've got this Grasslands facility that Casella owns, and we also have the Coventry landfill that Casella owns in Vermont. That's also included in here. So we got three disposal sites.
John, is there something in the works coming out of your department to put an anaerobic digester in front of the treatment plant here in the city?
We're right now working on what we call a long-term sustainable organics management plan. Those plans often include an anaerobic digester. Where it would be installed would have to be decided. There's not a lot of space down at the wastewater plant.
How big would something like that be?
What's that?
How big would that be?
Depends on whether we decide it for just our needs or for future needs, or to operate as a merchant facility and bring in residuals from other people that need to dispose of organics.
Can food organics go in?
Yes.
So Mayor, we've been talking about this in our subcommittee group. Is it possible that we can have some time with John to talk about?
We talked about, actually, Rochelle,
Oh, Rochelle, did.
Diana, and John and
Oh,
myself
okay.
discussed this
What?
as well already, with the idea that the current plan for organics management and composting within just the city buildings is expanded sustainably and reasonably to potentially be incorporated into a plan like this, but we're some years off from this plan. But it is the goal that this is an all-encompassing or a more encompassing endeavor for the city. That's my goal anyway, but yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Any first discussion? Roll call.
Council Canal,
Yes.
Council Kelly,
Yeah.
Council Gibbs,
Yes.
Council Talon. Yes. Council Bob,
Yes.
Council Moore,
Yes,
Carried. There is no need for an executive session tonight. Is there any new resolutions, or new business come for this council?
So we're not voting on the law?
Pardon me?
We're not voting on the.
No, because we're still waiting on comments, because of the secret analysis, it needed to be referred to the county planning board for comments and for approval. We're waiting for that to come back before we can vote on that resolution. Once we get that back, then we will know what path to go forward, whether we vote on it, and we'll vote law. Right now.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, I'd really like to see plans in place before we, us to have an idea of how we know we're going to oversee the situation before we. amend the law.
So, Rochelle Armstrong asked if for the next council meeting, if we could have someone added to our finance smart task force committee because we had a resignation. Can I bring it up now? or would you-
No, just send it through my office and we'll manage it.
Okay.
Thank you.
And at the council meeting at the end of September, I think. Yeah, but it's October. I asked if there would be a plan to winterize the pipes at the Creek Civic Center.
We have not talked about that yet.
It's getting to 30 degrees at night, and I'm concerned that we might have burst pipes in the building, which I don't want to see happen.
Okay. So again, we have yet to sit down and talk about that. There has been, obviously the budget, Lake Country Village has been pressing issues. I think after this week, we'll have some time to sit down and strategize or have that conversation and stay the direction of where DPW is going to go. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further new business? New business?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank all the people that came out for the Pride event over the weekend, and I wanted to thank the city staff that was involved in it. So thank you all very much. Let's keep it going year after year.
It was a great event. It's the best one yet.
New business.
Yes, our Mayor Rosenquist. The mayor and I met on Tuesday, as we always do, and I usually follow up with some sort of update for you, but this time I decided not to, because I only talked about the budget. And I could report to you some of the facts and figures that we discussed, but I thought it would be best to wait until your letter comes to us.
Steal my thunder.
Oh,
No.
I'm not
Just kidding.
still your best.
Just
So, but there is some good news there, and I'm pretty excited about it, and I think all of you will too.
new business. Seeing none, I'll now entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting. Councilor Gibbs, second by Councilor Canales, all in favor? We now adjourn. Thank you, folks.
What?